from forth the fatal loins of these two foes.
Have to do the music myself, 'cause the YouTube copyright will get us. Isn't this very melodramatic? But I got no choice. So, we had a month.
I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again.
So yeah, this was our first race in 6 to 7 weeks, so there's always something to do. The main things that you do pre-check on anything like this, and you have to leave it fairly close or it's pointless doing it, is making sure all the bearings and everything are greased up, and the chain is nice and loose. So we did have a little bit of a problem with the chain here. It had obviously been stood a while, so making sure we're lubricating it. We're also doing the rear hub, and making sure all the axle and everything is here. So we had all 4 wheels off at this point, going around and doing the axle, making sure the accelerator cable was good, making sure the brakes were good, making sure all the hubs were free, making sure everything was tight. Basically just a once over. There's no point doing this, like I say, well in advance, because then if it stands around a little bit, obviously everything, no matter where you store it, starts teasing up a little bit. So a bit of a pre-race check, like we always do. Didn't take too long this time, to be fair, so we were quite happy about that, as our last race was obviously in Scotland, which was on the tarmac, which is always a lot easier. So we're on his way to the track. Always have to get a monster in. Slight difference today. We're not driving. So I can't remember last time we went to a track and I wasn't driving.
Oh well.
Will it bring good luck? Will it? Yeah. Will it bring good luck or bad luck? Let's see. On his way to Buxton. So we're here at Buxton. Yep, it's going to be busy at the moment. But this is also hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours before. So let's go see Mr. G. But yeah, should be good. Good meeting. Liam, just so it's on film, can I put you in my Stoxkart for our races? What do you fancy? Yeah?
If you want.
Good man, thank you. We have been checked over, scrutineered, we've sorted that out now. I think some of the Formula 1s are going to go out for a practice in a little bit. See how today goes. We've got some decent turnout, but I'll be honest, I'm a bit worried because our cart's not moved for so long. I've freshened everything up and checked everything, but we always have bad luck when we haven't raced for a while and we've left it parked up. Plus I haven't really raced here in anger since they did the new track, so let's see how it goes. Not expecting too much, but we're going to try and enjoy it. There's a decent crack tonight, all being well. So yeah, let's see whether we can get some good footage. Yeah, this was our first race of the day. Really frustratingly, and you are going to see it just in a moment, we had a really good start to this. So that's the white there. Then you've got a couple of yellows, and what you'll see is that's us there, blue. Look at the gap that we've pulled with the blues. But there, you can see our big issue for the weekend. Loads of bounce. That much bounce, it allowed all the blues and most of the red to go past us. That bounce did not disappear. It was on every corner non-stop, and it slowed us down massively. We were helped out in the end by getting caught up in a crash that essentially took the chain off and damaged the axle and everything. So after our first race came the big one, the F1 Semi-Final. This is what all the crowds were there for. So obviously you've got to qualify to get in this, and then this is to qualify to get in for the gold roof, which is the biggest race of the year. Now, I'm not going to lie, I certainly didn't get all this in. You'll all know the results of this by now. I enjoy watching the racing too much to literally video it, so I did pause it and then forgot to start videoing again. Sorry. missed the second race due to damage. As well as us having damage, we had to try and help Daz get his damage fixed, so we skipped the Q2 and went straight to the final. So yeah, at this point, this was Daz again in a big crash. Thankfully he's alright, but this basically was the second big damage of the day for Daz. Really unfortunate after spending all that time fixing it. At this point, we'd also come off as our chain had literally snapped in half. The joys of the chain are back. So day 2 at Buxton, and it's done a typical Buxton kind of thing, and it's wet through. It's raining, so not particularly looking forward to today, as we've never got the cart to go around when it's wet. I'll have a go at practicing again today. Dad were in middle again, with his chain off. So the joys of motorsport are, you have days like this. So we had a really good Bradford, we had a really good Cowdenbeath. So something were going to happen. You either have 3 in a row and nobody believes you, or you have a crapper like today. So Buxton can suck my balls. I don't like the new track layout at all, getting nothing but bounce. A kart that was absolutely nailed on and felt like a scale electric car at Bradford and Cowdenbeath comes to Buxton and bounces all over the place. So we got rid of a bit of bounce yesterday, but the chain came off. She hadn't had that for ages, so we didn't finish a race yesterday. And then we've just done first race today, and the chain has literally crapped itself. Not just come off, it's snapped off, chewed up, made a right mess. So that's where we are at the moment. We've already put 2 axles on this week, and another axle's 200 quid. That's an expensive weekend when we're racing for fun now. So town a bit down, but listen, it's racing. I am taking it in a different form. It's racing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Today's just a bad one. We will get together and regroup, and we'll go from there. Sit there. But yeah, this is Sunday's final. We finally got going, and we finally lasted some laps. Not going to pretend it was a great start, so as you can see we started up with the blues, and then the first corner we got a bit wide, and we lost a bit of traction, and then we lost a bit of pace. But throughout the race, all of a sudden we learned, I say all of a sudden, I basically learned to cope with how the car was driving. It was not good, essentially. But I'd had such a bad weekend, I was going to stick with it. We actually dragged its bum over the line in fifth, which, considering how unsteady it was in the corners and everything, was a massive achievement. But it wasn't a case of the car getting better, it was a case of us learning how to drive it. So we've got a lot to look at in this next few weeks, but we're not going to rush and we're going to do it right. So it's gone from being absolutely nailed on to not quick enough. We need to have a look. It's always a bad time when you've got kart fuel, and as you can see it's splashing out over the top. That shows how little racing we actually managed to do this weekend. Yeah. So I've just got back from Buxton. Yep. Trying to stay positive. So I've just got back from Buxton. So we're trying to be positive, less downhearted. We're not taking the racing serious, we're trying to do it for fun. Trouble is we didn't really have fun, but grades and that don't matter to us at the moment at all. We're not racing enough, we just want to try and enjoy it. You know, I've got a family that we've got to try and enjoy the racing with. After Cowdenbeath and Bradford, obviously we'd got numerous podiums and wins. The Stoxkart felt like it were on scale electric. I could do anything into the corners and it'd go round. All good luck though in racing has to come to an end. It's always going to come to an end when you're in a contact sport as well. What's frustrating is the way it came to an end. 6 races over the weekend. 2 did not starts. 3 did not finishers. The only race we had a fit and healthy kart that actually worked, and we got a 5th in the final as well. So I'm going to stick to this positive because people like positives, don't want negatives. Give me a kart that works. Give me a kart that's got good parts on it, that aren't broke, that's set up right. I'll get a result. Proving it. Trouble is, she's an old girl. This weekend we got bounce in the first race. Massive bounce. Weird. Really weird. Normal setup from Bradford, normal setup from Cowdy. Had nothing but bounce. Didn't get round to what it was, but came off and we'd got a bent axle. Problem was we were racing alongside Daz this week. He was by himself. Daz came off with big damage. Massive damage. So between trying to get my axle done, trying to get Daz's done best we could, which loads of people helped, so thank you. Neither of us made it out for the second race. We weren't ready. I managed to get my back end done. didn't get my front end done, weren't enough time between races, simple as that, there just weren't enough time. Missed that, went out in final, chain snapped, can't do all about that, chain snapped, done, that's a waste of a day. Sunday comes round, first race, went out, note major, chain snapped, or chain came off, wondered what it was, came off, the axle were bent, already put one axle on it this weekend, didn't have another. Problem we've got is we're on old axles, only sell new ones at the track, so we ended up having to buy a new axle, which comes with a new hub and has a completely different way of fitting it. Massive thank you to everybody that helped. Put a post out the other day, Sienna Moss's dad, Mr Johnson, Young Mason, Stuart Haywood, various people helped. Without them I wouldn't have been able to do it, because changing an axle to me, I spend too much time on them and it takes too long, certainly in between races. Changing to the new axle, which once you've done it once it's fine, but doing it out at blue I'd have struggled. So I needed all that help. Went out for the second race, the chain came off before we even got on track. Mr Johnson put it back on and says, come on, let's see whether we can get it back out. Got to the track edge, came off again, so we didn't start the second race today. Got it back, went over it all over again, had to realign the engine, had to mess about with the chain. We can only think that the chain had stretched from the bent axle. Set it all back up, went out in final, got a 5th. Could have probably done a little bit better, but we still had a bit of bounce. Didn't get time to suss out why it were bouncing, whether it just be Buxton or not, which I've already said I'm not a fan of this new layout, or whether there's something amiss with the front alignment, but the bounce actually came from the front in the race. So, but we still managed a 5th. So, like I say, short of putting lots of new bits on, we're just going to have to put up with it, which is a shame. But yeah, one of them weekends. To make matters worse, Daz, after repairing him on Saturday, went out in the final, got absolutely collected on the start-finish straight. From what I saw of it, I don't get why we couldn't miss him. It just looked like we just didn't pay enough attention and drove into him. Not worse when something like that happens. Got absolutely collected. So I hope Daz is feeling a bit better. I know he had to go home, and he had enough damage in the first race to go home, but everybody helped to fix it. To get that then in the final, it's not good, is it? But yeah, overall, this is one of them weekends where I'll be sulking for a couple of days, feeling sorry for myself. Instead, we're just going to go enjoy it. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. See you there. Just to add to that, by the way, because it were a bit of a mumbling, in no way, shape or form am I isolating Buxton as a track. They've made some right improvements. I like going to Buxton because it's local. The improvements they've done are great. The track does look better as such. Simple fact is, I don't think it's as good for us as it used to be. I think we preferred the old layout, but at the end of the day, I know that Stoxkarts don't draw crowds, Stoxkarts don't draw money, so they're going to set it up for all the other vehicles. Main reason it don't work for us, and then, simple, we don't have suspension. They do. So, it's a simple reason why it don't work. I just think our karts reacted a lot better to the old layout than they do the new one. Simple as that. So it's not Buxton bashing, because there's too much of that goes on when there's tracks disappearing. What they've done for the formulas above will only improve it massively. For us, just made it a bit, certainly for now anyway, so not Buxton bashing at all. Never do that to tracks.
TR Race about the following. Main sponsors Betty Surf, Northern Wood Tuning, Liquid Molly, Autotech in Barnsley, Power Max, and GME and Coopers.